Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to rating the 6-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings, and I'm now making videos for NBA Top Shot as well. If you're unable to watch these YouTube videos, they're also up on an Apple Podcast. We'll link down below. It's called the DKDFS Show. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, I offer that on patreon.com, an esports package, which includes Call of Duty and CSGO, as well as an NBA package. And then finally, I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this show. If you are not familiar with Prize Picks or this is your first time watching these videos, the idea is you're taking over/under in fantasy points. So they have 8 players already posted here for tomorrow. There will be a lot more posted throughout the day tomorrow as well. So, yeah, the idea is, again, you're taking over/under on fantasy points. You can mix and match sports, too. So you can pair like a couple NBA with like college. Again, they have college basketball. They have Call of Duty, esports, right? They have tennis. So I think it's, a kind of fun way to get different from playing Draftkings, where you're not playing against anyone, you're playing against the house. So if you guys want to sign up, you use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word, link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. So if you put $100 in, you get $200 to play with. And yeah, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So before I talk about players and their prices for this 6-game slate, we can look back at my lineup here from Wednesday. Wednesday played a little bit light, but honestly, I'm in the cash and I'm a little bit surprised about it. Well, I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just very, very tilted about Daniel Theis. But yeah, so let's go over my lineup. Harden, Hero, Will Barton, Daniel Theis, Richaun Holmes, Kevin Porter Jr., Draymond Green, and Satoransky. I can get out of the way so you guys can see. So, yeah, Harden, I thought was the clear spend up on the slate. This isn't a big, $20 tournament? He was only 50% owned. He was for sure the optimal spend up. I talked about that multiple times in the live stream. Once we got news that Kyrie Irving was out, again, the safest spend up for sure. Now, Tyler Hero, I was not looking to play. I was banking on the fact that I was hoping Jimmy Butler would be out. Because if Jimmy Butler got ruled out way after lock, then it would have been a massive boost to guys like Hero, Nunn, Dragic. So I was banking on the fact that hopefully Jimmy wouldn't play. He did end up playing, and I was stuck in a not so good spot. So I had Hero and Will Barton here, and I tried a ton of different combinations. There wasn't really anything I felt comfortable with. I could have went the one I was considering was Paul George. I think it was Caleb Martin. It was one of the Martin twins. I was like, I don't know if I can stomach playing a Martin twin. So I just stuck with Hero. Not doing amazing, but again, I didn't really have any other options there, and that was a risk I was willing to take. Daniel Theis starts at the center position. No Tristan Thompson. Cleveland Cavaliers. Jared Allen, not a good defender. Daniel Theis, a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, get some blocks, get some steals. In 25 minutes, one shot attempt. One shot attempt. Richaun Holmes. If you faded Richaun Holmes, you got very lucky. Foul trouble, ended up fouling out. I think he only played about 25-ish minutes. I don't know what exactly he finished with, but he missed out on a good 10 minutes. If he does not get in foul trouble, that I know that is, the concern. That is always the risk with Richaun Holmes. If he stays out of foul trouble in this game, he goes for 40 plus for sure. So that was pretty tilting. Kevin Porter Jr., Draymond Green, both pretty low owned. Kevin Porter Jr., 45 fantasy points. Draymond Green, 51 fantasy points. Yeah, that game, and it looked like a blowout in the first half. It looked like it was a blowout, and I was like, oh man, not again. But Houston brought it back close enough where Draymond actually checked back in. He didn't play a ton, but he played a couple minutes in the fourth quarter. And then Satoransky, I thought was a clear value. One guy I didn't use was Zubac, but I mentioned, if there was no Ibaka, I liked him a lot for value. But just the way that my roster construction worked, I was taking what I thought were the clear value plays with Satoransky and Daniel Tice. Right, the 6 we knew they were going to get. They're both going to play a good amount, and yeah, I really wanted to play Rashawn Holmes and Draymond Green too. So I just didn't have a spot open for Ivica Zubac, but he's playing well. And yeah, that's really it for the look back, guys. Hope you guys had a good night. Oh, Hero is no longer a snowflake. I'll take it. So yeah, should be able to cash here. I didn't play big. I took it light tonight, but oh, maybe not. You see that? Went from 20 back down to 16. Okay. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. Hope you had a good night. And let's see if we can keep it rolling for this 6-game slate. I think it's a pretty nice 6-game slate. So we have 3 of the 6 games out right now. Minnesota and Phoenix, a 228 over under. The Suns are 10.5 point favorites. Pelicans and Blazers. We just saw this one, yesterday, right? 241.5 over under. The Blazers are 1 point favorites. And the Hornets and the Lakers are 227.5 over under. The Lakers are 8 point favorites. So we'll start off with the Jazz and the Wizards. On the Utah Jazz side, big news, no Mike Conley. So starting off at the top, Donovan Mitchell, I think is one of the better plays of the slate. Reason being is he will play a lot more of the point guard, and he's had some massive games when Mike Conley's been out. Also, look at this matchup, right? Washington Wizards, one of the best possible spots. So really like Donovan Mitchell at the top. I'm fine with Gobert at 8-2. He is a guy that every once in a while will go for like a 20-20 game or a game where he has like 4 or 5 blocks. I do like the matchup, so again, I'm fine with him. He wouldn't be a priority, though. I think I'd rather get to Mitchell over Gobert, actually. And then with no Mike Conley, it's a massive boost for Jordan Clarkson and Joe Ingles, and I really like both. I'm expecting Joe Ingles to start. He has started when Mike Conley was out earlier in the season, and he has played like 30 to 35 minutes in those games. So I think Joe Ingles is one of the better plays in the mid-range. I like Jordan Clarkson off the bench. I expect him to play around 30-ish minutes. He's going to get a ton of shot attempts up. So yeah, Utah's a team I am very high on, which is weird to say because Utah normally is a team I kind of avoid, but I am very high on them for this slate. We have no Mike Conley in one of the best possible spots. Bojan Bogdanovic, again, fine, but he's very reliant on the scoring. Royce O'Neal's all right, too. I would rather get to Ingles. I'd rather get to Clarkson in a similar price range. And I will always mention Derek Favors. We kind of know what his role is. 15 minutes, a solid point per minute guy. He can go out and get you 15 to 20 in that time. But yeah, that's a riskier value play. Just unless something happens to Gobert, he's not going to play more than that. On the Washington side, so Russell Westbrook, Brad Beal at 10-2 and 9-1 respectively. I do prefer Russell Westbrook. Again, you guys know the reason why by now if you've watched my content for the last few years. Yes, right? Triple-double upside. That is why I prefer Westbrook to Beal. Brad Beal's stat line, again, he will get rebounds and assists, but not to the extent of Russell Westbrook. So even with the $1,100 premium, I will prefer Westbrook to Beal. Rui Hachimura, I think, had a subpar game. I guess he's still out for 31. He's been playing better recently, and he's also playing way more minutes. 38, 37, and 38. If he's going to continue to play close to 40 minutes, then I think he's viable here. What I'm worried about is it feels like chasing a little bit, but hey, he's turned the corner, and they seem to be giving him way more minutes. So okay, yeah, I can get behind Rui Hachimura. I never feel super comfortable with any secondary piece for Washington, to be honest, besides Westbrook and Beal. Can we tilt this? Can we tilt this? Whenever no one plays Alex Len, he always goes off. He was decently popular 2 games ago. Complete bust. Tonight, when no one plays him, he goes off. And that literally it's every time. Whenever Alex Len is somewhat popular, he will completely bust. Whenever no one plays him, he has a good game. So if no one's going to play Alex Len, then he's a good tournament play. If he's going to be popular, I'm probably just going to look elsewhere because we know by now the roulette wheel of the centers, and there's no guarantee. If he does not play well, there's no guarantee of minutes. On the moving on to Oklahoma City and Atlanta, this is a game that I think does have some upside. 2 teams that are not great defensively. Let's start at the top with SGA. I like him. Would I say he's a cash game play at this price? I don't know if he's a cash game play, but I like him for tournaments. Again, good matchup here. He's the number 1 on offense. He had a weird stat line of only 1 rebound, 1 assist last game. Normally, he's a guy that can go out and get you, 5 to 10 assists and some rebounds as well. So I have some interest in SGA at the top. Al Horford at 6.3K. We kind of know what's going to go, or what's Al Horford's role by now. 25 to 30 minutes. A guy that can stuff the stat sheet, and I like the matchup. So Also, revenge game narrative if you're into that. I think he's a fair play at his price. Roby with Horford back, I'm probably not going to get to. Dort and Maledon, both questionable. Keep an eye on that. If they're both out, then, we'll see what they do the starting lineup. Pocheski was a chalk bust last game. If he starts again, would have some interest there. Moses Brown, we'll see. I don't think he's going to start alongside Al Horford. I guess they could start Horford the 4, but if Moses Brown comes off the bench, then he's obviously riskier. He had a big game last game, went for 51 fancy points. So I want to see what Oklahoma City, they've done some weird stuff with starting lineups, right? We've seen like 3 big starts, and Moses Brown has been playing well. I guess I wouldn't be overly surprised if they start him alongside Al Horford. Either way, I think he will get some decent run off the bench. If he comes off the bench, I would say maybe around 20 minutes. So keep an eye on this one. If he starts, would have a little bit more confidence there. If he comes off the bench, I think it's still viable. Svi Mikhailuk will probably be available. Kenrich Williams, Ty Jerome. These guys are decent options. Definitely way more viable if like Dort and Maledon are not able to play. On the Atlanta Hawks side, so Trae Young, again, at 9.9, not a cash game play because he's been a little bit up and down, but like him for tournaments. Clint Capella is the big news here, currently questionable. If he plays, I like him here. If he misses, then it's right back to John Collins for me, who should play 30 to 35 minutes, and again, will play mostly at the 5, so really like Collins, even at that price if there's no Capella. Gallinari has been getting a lot more minutes, and no Capella played 34 the last game. I will say he's been doing a little bit of a better job rebounding the ball too, so if there's no Clint Capella, I think Gallinari is viable. No thank you on Herter. Bogdan Bogdanovic at 4.1K probably gets around 20 to 25 minutes, but he's been disappointing since coming back from injury. Nathan Knight, if both Okongo and Clint Capella are out, he will play the backup 5. 23, 22 minutes last couple games. I would expect around 15 to 20 in a close game. He's been a good point per guy. Yeah, I have some interest in Nathan Knight if both those centers are out again. And that's it for Atlanta. Moving on to Orlando and New York. On the Orlando side, I do like Vooch. Should play 35 to 40 minutes. He is the clear number 1 on offense. Now, we have a lot of guys questionable for Orlando. We have Terrence Ross questionable. We have Aaron Gordon, who went through practice, is questionable. I think he plays, but I don't think he's going to play a ton. Evan Fournier questionable. So, if all these guys are in, then that's obviously, then Vucevic more of a secondary play. If all these guys are, most of them are out, then I think you can look to Vooch at the top, just because, again, the offense is just running through him. And no, I'm not really scared of Nerlens Noel or Taj Gibson on the defensive end. I know team-wise, New York's been solid defensively, but yeah, Vooch would be a guy I would look to if all those guys are continuing to be out. That being Fournier, Gordon, Ross. Value-wise, there's not much I like here for Orlando, to be honest, especially if 1 or 2 of those guys are in. So probably just going to stay away from the Orlando Magic value. Moving on to New York. So New York, Julius Randle, the top at 10K. I think this price will scare some people off, but it continues to play around 40 minutes. Orlando has not been great defensively. So, yeah, I'm perfectly fine if you want to pay 10K for Julius Randle. RJ Barrett, just more of a secondary play. The good thing is the minutes recently, 36, 35, and 41 minutes. I will say, too, Quickly is questionable. Derrick Rose out, and Alfred Payton doubtful. If they're all out, then, RJ might have to run a little bit of the point. So, and again, he's playing big minutes. I'm fine with him if you land there. Nerlens Noel, no thank you. Alec Burks, another guy that if all his point guards are out, he might have to play more. He played 36 minutes. Quickly got a little bit banged up that last game, and that's why I think Burks played a little bit more. So, yeah, RJ Barrett, Alec Burks, those guys are definitely viable if, the Knicks have, no point guards. Reggie Bullock at 4.2K. I hate playing Reggie Bullock. But last 3 games, 37-42. Only 29 minutes that last game. Again, fine option. If he plays close to the 40-minute mark, he probably will get there. Taj Gibson, and he'll play the backup 5, play about 20 minutes. I guess is an okay punt play. And then, just keep an eye on the starting lineup for whoever starts the point guard, right? So, Quickly himself, if he does play, I think he is a decent tournament play. The reason I say he's a tournament play is he did only play 26 minutes. I'm not sure if that's just because he wasn't, coach decision, or was that because of the injury. I'm not 100% sure, because the previous 2 games, 33 and 34. So, if Quickly starts and plays 33, 34 minutes, I think there's a good chance he can get value at this price. So, yeah, the Knicks, there's a lot of injury news to keep an eye on there for sure. Moving on to New Orleans and Portland, this is a game that definitely has some upside for sure. We saw it yesterday. Zion Williamson at 8.9. I like the price on him. He should play about 35 minutes in a close game. A guy's been doing a lot better job stuff in the stat sheet. Brandon Ingram at 8.1 is fine. I would prioritize Zion, though, over Ingram. Lonzo Ball's had back-to-back pretty big games, 40 and 46 fantasy points, one for 17 assists. Again, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot and should play mid-30s minutes in a close game, so I'm perfectly fine getting to Lonzo. Josh Hart at the bench probably plays 25 to 30 minutes, is an okay play. Steven Adams lost some minutes the last game. Bledsoe, minutes are trending down. A guy that does intrigue me, and you know I'm a huge fan, NAW. Off the bench, he's been playing around 25 minutes. A guy that can stuff a stat sheet. We know he's aggressive on the offensive end. I do kind of like him for value. Again, still no JJ Redick. And then finally, Jackson Hayes. So my one concern with Jackson Hayes, the last slate was, since, behind Enes Kanter, they didn't have another big. And I was a little bit concerned that, hey, maybe Pelicans match them and maybe they play Zion more at the 5 and maybe Jackson Hayes loses minutes. He still played 19 minutes. Also, we have Harry Giles, looks like he might come back, so that's like a backup big for Portland. So I actually do kind of like Jackson Hayes here for value. I think he plays around 20 minutes. Solid point per minute guy. I definitely have some interest there. On the Portland side, Damian Lillard had the massive game last game. That's definitely going to boost his ownership. The only concern is, again, CJ McCollum back. And he's going to be, I think, over-owned because of that last game. I still like him at the top, but I'm just a little, like, if he's going to be really, really popular, Dame that is, then I'll look elsewhere. CJ McCollum played 26 minutes. I'm curious to see if he's going to still be on a minutes limit. If there's no minutes limit for CJ, then I would have some interest there at that price. And that is basically, again, Harry Giles, what they said, probable. I actually could see, if you want to get really contrarian, take a shot in him for tournaments. He'll probably play the backup 5 and play around 15 minutes, but we haven't seen him on the court in a long time, so maybe they hold him out. So again, it's definitely a risky play. Minnesota and Phoenix. So Phoenix have been pretty solid defensively, but Karl-Anthony Towns is a guy that I still have interest in at 9.4K because DeAndre Ayton, not a good defender. Sarge, not the best defender. So I still like Cat at the top, a guy that can stuff a stat sheet and offense should run through him. Anthony Edwards, again, he has been their number two on offense. He's playing big minutes and getting a ton of shot attempts up. A little bit more reliant on the scoring, so I would say a little riskier. Again, Phoenix is good defensively, so I would rather have Cat than Anthony Edwards. Both are still playable. Ricky Rubio, it's a revenge game, and he finally flashed some upside. Went for 19 and 12, 47 fantasy points. He should play about 30 minutes in a close game. Fair option, but nothing I'm super excited about. Value-wise, I just don't think I can do it. I really, there's just too many guys playing like 15 to 20 minutes that nothing gets me excited for the value. Phoenix side, so Phoenix, when fully healthy, is usually a team I don't love. Booker is fine for tournaments. I would rather have Chris Paul, again, because he does more of the peripheral stats. In a close game, he should play 32 to 34 minutes. So I'd rather have Paul than Booker. Booker might have a little bit more upside, but again, when Paul's out there, a little bit more reliant on the scoring. DeAndre Ayton has been losing minutes recently. Did play 28, though, in a blowout that last game. I do like the matchup against Karl-Anthony Towns, but again, it's just not a great sign that 22, 23, 29, 28 minutes in recent games. So a little bit undecided on what I want to do with DeAndre Ayton. I think he's a good tournament play, and if he does play over 30 minutes, I think there's a pretty good chance he can get there. Now, if you think he struggles again, then Dario Saric is the guy you want to look to. He's actually closed a couple games over DeAndre Ayton. He's at 4.5K. It's not super cheap, but again, if you think they're going to limit DeAndre Ayton, you can look to Dario Saric at 4.5. And that's probably it for me. I don't really think I want to get to any of the wings on Phoenix. Finally, Charlotte and the Lakers. Honestly, there's really not much I like here on the Charlotte side, just because the minutes are not really high at anyone. I know it was a blowout tonight, but in close games like LaMelo, 25 to 30, I don't really want to pay 8-3 if he's only going to play, or he's going to play under 30 minutes. Now, if things go right and he plays really well, maybe they extend him a bit, and he's the guy that has the most upside. So I will say, if I had to take a shot on one of the top guys for Charlotte, it would be LaMelo, and just hope that he actually plays more. Gordon Hayward, no. Rozier, no. PJ, no. Cody Zeller, no. There's not much else I like here, really. I don't think I'm going to get to... Charlotte's just a team I don't like. They're extending the bench more. Basically like a 10-man rotation now, and no one's playing huge minutes, and it's not a good matchup. So not much I like in Charlotte. And the Lakers side, a little bit different. As long as the Hornets can keep it close, I think LeBron James, a pretty safe play at the top, should play 35 minutes in a close one. Again, a guy that has triple-double upside. So do like LeBron at the top. Montrezl Harrell at 6'4", has been playing around 30 minutes in a close game. I like him in the mid-range with no Anthony Davis and no Marc Gasol. Dennis Schroeder's at 6'2". We kind of know what we're getting out of him. Around 30 minutes, a fair play. Kyle Kuzma at 6K should play probably close to 30 minutes in a close game. I think he's viable. So really all three of the mid-range guys for the Lakers are in play. I think Harrell probably has the most upside at the moment. Harrell Kuzma. Markieff Morris is probable. The thing with him, though, the minutes are trending down. So he can still get there in about 20, but I don't love it. The guy that I do like, Talon Horton Tucker at 3.9K. The reason being is, yes, the last couple games were both blowouts. But in the first half, he played 12 and 13 minutes. So, like, it's looking like he's going to play about 25 minutes. If that's the case, then I think he's a pretty good value play. So, yeah, I do like Talon Horton Tucker at 3.9K. Again, still no Caruso. KCP is at 3.8K. He'll play mid-20s minutes, more rely on the scoring viable. But, again, he's got to hit his shots. And then, yeah, finally, Damian Jones will play the 5. We'll probably play about 15 minutes. But I don't know if I want to go there, even at min price. So that's really it for the team-by-team breakdown, guys. I think that's going to do it for the video as well. If you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you don't upload videos you don't like live. As always, I will be doing a YouTube live stream tomorrow to go over everything and answer all your guys' questions. Thanks again. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow.